Hi everyone, my greetings to all of you. I'm Noel Jason and again welcome back to my YouTube channel Basic Speech Practice and Knowledge Listening. Today I'll be talking about a Japanese multi-industry company called SONY Corporation. SONY Group Corporation is a Japanese multinational conglomerate corporation headquartered in Minato, Tokyo, Japan. As a major technology company, it operates as one of the world's largest manufacturers of consumer and professional electronic products, the largest video game console company, and the largest video game publisher. Through Sony Entertainment Incorporated, it is one of the largest music companies and the third largest film studios, making it one of the most comprehensive media companies. It is the largest technology and media conglomerate in Japan. It is also recognized as the most cash-rich Japanese company with the net cash revenues or reserves of 2 trillion Japanese yen. Sony, with its 55% market share in the image sensors market, it is the largest manufacturer of image sensors, the second largest camera manufacturer, and it's among the semiconductor sales leaders. It is the world's largest player in the premium TV market for a television of at least 55 inches with a price higher than 2,500 US dollars, as well as the second largest TV brand by market share and, as of 2020, the third largest TV brand in the world by annual sales figures. Sony Group Corporation is a holding company of the Sony Group, which comprises Sony Corporation, Sony Semiconductor Solutions, Sony Entertainment, which contains Sony Pictures and Sony Music, Sony Interactive Entertainment, Sony Financial Group, Sony Creative Products, and others. Sony began in the wake of the World War II. In 1946, Masaru Ibuka, a Japanese electronics industrialist, started an electronics shop in Shirokiya, a department store building in the Nihonbashi area of Tokyo. The company started with a capital of 190,000 Japanese yen and a total of 8 employees. On 7th May 1946, which was the founding date of Sony, Ibuka was joined by Akio Morita to establish a company called Tokyo Tsushin Kogyo, or Tokyo Telecommunications Engineering Corporation in English. The company built Japan's first tape recorder called the Sony Type G. The first Sony branded product is the TR-55 transistor radio that was appeared in 1955, but the company's name did not change to Sony at that time. In January 1958, the company changed its name to Sony. The term Sony was chosen for the brand as a mix of two words. One was the Latin word sonus, which is the root of sonic and sound, and the other one was Sony, a common slang term used in the 1950s America to call a young boy. In 1950s Japan, Sony boys was a loan word in Japanese which connected smart and presentable young men, which Akio Morita and Masaru Ibuka considered themselves to be. In March 1957, Sony introduced the Sony TR-63 radio, which cracked open the US market and launched the new industry of consumer microelectronics. By the mid-1950s, American teens had begun buying portable transistor radios in huge numbers, helping to propel the fledgling industry from an estimated 100,000 units in 1955 to 5 million units by the end of 1968. Sony's co-founder Akio Morita founded the Sony Corporation of America in 1960. Sony played a major role in the development of Japan as a powerful exporter during the 1960s, 1970s, and in the 1980s, supplying the US military with bomb parts used in the Vietnam War. It also helped to significantly improve American perceptions of made in Japan products. Known for its production quality, Sony was able to charge above market prices for its consumer electronics and resisted lowering prices. In 1971, Masaru Ibuka handed over the position of president to his co-founder Akio Morita. Sony began a life insurance company in 1979, one of its most peripheral businesses. Amid a global recession in the early 1980s, electronic sales dropped and the company was forced to cut prices. Sony's profits fell sharply. One analyst concluded that it's over for Sony. The company's best days are behind it. Around that time, Norio Oga took up the role of the president. He encouraged the development of the compact disc or the CD in the 1970s and the 1980s and of the PlayStation or the PS in the early 1990s. The Nori Oga went on to purchase the Columbia Records in 1988 and Columbia Pictures in the 1989, greatly expanding Sony's media presence. Olga succeeded Morita as a chief executive officer in 1989. In 2003, Olga retired and Nobuyuki Ide became the sole chairman and the chief executive officer of Sony. In 2005, Howard Stringer replaced Nobuyuki Ide as the chief executive officer. Stringer helped reinvigorate the company's struggling media businesses, encouraging blockbusters such as Spider-Man while cutting 9,000 jobs. He hoped to sell off peripheral businesses and focus the company again on electronics. In 2009, Sony introduced a slogan known as Make Dot Believe in 2009. Despite some successes, the company faced continued struggle. Face continued struggle in the mid to late 2000s. In 2012, Kazuo Hira was promoted to the president position and the CEO position, replacing Howard Stringer. Therefore, Hira outlined his company-wide initiative named One Sony to revive Sony from years of financial losses and bureaucratic management structure, partly due to differences in business culture and native languages between Stringer and some of Sony's Japanese divisions and subsidiaries. Hira outlined three major areas of focus for Sony's electronic businesses, which include imaging technology, gaming, and mobile technology, as well as the focus on reducing the major losses from the television business. In February 2014, Sony announced the sale of its Vaio PC division to a new corporation owned by investment fund Japan Industrial Partners and spinning its TV division into its own corporation as to make it more nimble to turn the unit around from the post losses totaling 7.8 billion US dollars over a decade. Later that month, Sony announced that they would be closing 20 stores. In May 2014, the company announced that it was forming two joint ventures with Shanghai Oriental Pearl Group to manufacture and market Sony's PlayStation gaming consoles and associated software in China. In 2015, Sony purchased Toshiba's image sensor business. In 2017, Sony sold its lithium-ion battery business to Murata Manufacturing, which is a Japanese manufacturer of electronics components. In 2017, Sony launched OLED or Organic Light Emitting Diodes TV or televisions under the Bravia brand. On 28 February 2014, Sony, M3 and Illumina established a joint venture called P5 Inc. to provide a genome analysis service for research institutions and enterprises in Japan. Sony has targeted on medical, healthcare and biotechnology business as a growth sector in the future. So the company acquired Eyesight Mission Technology Incorporated in 2020, a manufacturer of flow cytometers which was renamed as Sony Biotechnology Inc. in 2012. and also it acquired Micronix Inc. or Incorporated, a developer of microfluidics based diagnostic tools in 2011. In 2015, Sony partnered with an autonomous driving startup called ZMP Inc. or Incorporated to establish an aerial surveillance and reconnaissance drone manufacturer named Aerosense. Sony shipped 13.5 million phones in 2017, 6.5 million in 2018, and 2.9 million handsets in FY 2020. At CES or Consumer Electronics Show 2021, Sony unveiled a drone with a brand AirPeak, the smallest of its kind that can incorporate a Sony Alpha camera, according to the company, entering the drone business for the first time. As of 2020, Sony is the world's largest manufacturer of CMOS OS image sensors, as its chips are widely used in digital cameras, tablets, smartphones, drones, and more recently, self-driving systems in automobiles. In 2020, Sony has launched the first intelligent vision sensors with AI edge computing capabilities. On 31st March 2019, the successor to the PlayStation 4 or PS4 was announced, and on 12th November 2020, the PS5 was released in North America, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, and Singapore. The PlayStation 5 was launched in Indonesia on 21st January 2021. Upon completion of the fiscal quarter, Sony sold 4.5 million PS5 consoles. In 2019, Sony merged its mobile, TV, and camera businesses. On 1st April 2021, Sony Corporation was renamed as Sony Group Corporation. In 2022, Sony Group and Honda launched a joint venture for the electric vehicle partnership, Sony Honda Mobility, which would deliver its first electric vehicles by 2026 and sell them online, starting in the United States and Japan. The joint venture announced their new Afeela brand and its first prototype model at the Consumer Electronics Show 2023. The present chairman, president, and the CEO of Sony Group Corporation is Kenichiro Yoshida. The total revenue of Sony Group Corporation is 8.99 trillion Japanese yen, which is equal to 81.38 billion US dollars as of 2022, and the total assets of Sony Group Corporation is 26.354 trillion Japanese yen, which is equal to 238.31 billion US dollars as of 2022. These were the informations I plan to talk about in today's speech about Sony Group Corporation. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like my speech, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and remember to turn on the bell icon to receive my latest speeches. Once again, thank you so much all of you for watching.